All right. Time for the ancient tradition of the pre-podcast donut.
Ooh, donuts.
Hey! Donuts are for winners, Chris.
Welcome back to the Out of Touch podcast. I'm Chris, that's Bill, and today we're watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
From 1991.
Don't forget, this is back when they actually numbered movies.
That's true, so you know what order to watch them in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, so Bill, what did you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze?
Man, it's crazy when you go from the gritty independent film to this, like, wow, they sold out quick.
I mean, didn't they only make that first Ninja Turtles movie because they already did sell out?
Well, that one was made independently, though.
That's true.
This was like, oh, this was made with like a list of studio notes, courtesy of a lot of parents that complained about the violence and the darkness of that first movie that made a lot of money, by the way. And then we end up with The Secret of the Ooze, a kind of compromised vision because, hey, Chris, what the fuck is The Secret of the Ooze?
It's just laboratory waste and nothing else.
Nothing else, because they cut out the explanation at the scripting stage. Because originally, Professor Perry was supposed to be revealed to be an Utrom. And they removed that in part because everyone would be like, why is Krang a good guy? What's going on? And I understand that, but there's ways around it. Maybe the Utroms fled their home because of a desperate warlord named Krang. There's ways of this.
Did they make the thing for, like, the guy to have?
I don't think it ever got that far.
Okay.
But enough of that remains in the movie. Like, obviously the title. And then there's little things that kind of seed it. At the end of the movie, TGRI disappears. And there's lots of cryptic dialogue from the professor that when you know that he was supposed to be an alien, it makes a lot more sense. Why they're so like, oh, we got to do this. We got to be very, very hush-hush about it. We got to get the hell out of here before anyone knows what's going on. If this stuff falls in the wrong hands, like they know what's going on, but they don't want to talk about it. It's weird. There's like this secret subplot that's just gone from the movie, but the skeleton remains. It's strange.
It is strange. So, you didn't like the movie?
I mean, I loved it when I was like 8.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, I think to myself, it's like, this is the Ninja Turtles movie I've seen the least. I've probably only seen this one like 20 times compared to the other two that I've seen like at least like 30 or 40.
I mean, I think I saw all of them like just a ton.
Yeah.
But, you know, this was out of the three, the one I guess that was the closest to the cartoon because Shredder's got, well, they called it just Ooze, but it's basically the mutagen. He's got mutants. They're not Bebop and Rocksteady. Eastman and Laird didn't want Bebop and Rocksteady. They weren't really fans of how those characters turned out. It's like the one thing they got their way on.
Yeah. Like, it's interesting, this movie, because, you know, like you said, it's very much in the cartoon. No Casey Jones in this movie, which I'm like, oh, man, yeah. No Casey Jones.
There may have been, like, a line in, like, an early draft of the script that was like, he's off playing hockey or something.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, is this when April has a new actor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Different actress, because, let's see, boys didn't like her or something. I don't know, some nonsense reasons why they replaced the other one. This movie, it's so weird because it still does act like a direct sequel to the first one, but the tone and everything is so different. But we still have a lot of the similar stuff. The foot soldiers look the same. Shredder's and Splinter and two of the turtles have the same voices. The turtle suits are still made by Jim Henson. They're a little softer.
Yeah, I want to say the turtle suits look good, like really good in this movie. Like, I would even say they might even look a little better than the first movie.
I think in some ways they do, in some ways they don't.
Okay.
I think from just because of the trial and error, they do look better, and I think some of the facial mechanics are a little better.
Yeah.
But their faces are a little like softer and friendlier. But they don't have like the dramatic lighting or anything like that helped the first movie Turtles look a lot better.
Yeah. Also, Leonardo never uses his swords in this movie.
He uses them once. He throws them in the ceiling.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, he touches his weapons way more than Michelangelo touches his, which is 0 times.
Yeah, he uses the sausage more than...
April uses the nunchucks at one point.
Oh, man.
Just doing nothing but Donatello's the only one that you really actually see use his weapon in battle.
I don't even think Raph has a size in this movie.
We see him a couple times. We see him kind of like holding them once during like I think maybe the first fight, and then he catches a slice of pizza with it.
That's right.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
Because they were just like pandering. Like, oh, they don't like the weapons out, so just don't use the weapons. Like, what do we do with them? Just have them there. I don't know. Leave me alone.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the opening of this movie is kind of funny, where it's just like everybody loves pizza in New York City.
Oh,
everybody's constantly eting pizza.
I love it.
I'm just like, man, I need some pizza.
Every time I watch that, I'm like, I need pizza.
Yeah.
I gotta get some pizza. Maybe I'll get some pizza tomorrow.
It's pretty good. But I want to say, like, it's been a while since I've seen Turtles 3, but like this is the movie I know the least. It's always like the one that I'm like, oh yeah, Secret of the Ooze. It's like that first movie is great. It's like still great. Like as a kid, I loved it. As an adult, I think I might even like it even more just because of like how did they accomplish this. But like I know Turtles 3 is probably the bad one, but
I guess. But I don't know. I never really thought it was that bad.
yeah,
I mean, the suits are the worst.
yeah, but
Out of the movie suits.
But they have the armor, which is cool.
And fair is fair. Like there's some decent production value and all that. Like feudal Japan stuff. It looks decent.
Yeah.
For like a, I mean, just like a kids movie from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know?
But Secret of the Ooze, I guess, is a little all over the place because it's like, Shredder wants his revenge on the Turtles for...
I do like his reintroduction, though.
Yeah.
I like the panning across the dump. We actually see his destroyed helmet and his hand raises up out of the garbage. And when he shows up at the Foot Backup HQ, covered in shadow, and then the guy's like, oh my God, his face. And like, I like the idea. It's like, oh my God, Shredder was like mutilated and deformed. And the only glimpse we get is we kind of just see like a vein bulging on his forehead. And he's just like a broken shell of his former self. He won't even fight the Turtles.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't do it. I failed.
Just stands in the background till the very end. But yeah, it's funny. It's like they really emphasize like turtles and pizza and like that's the cartoons.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean, they become friends with the pizza delivery dude.
Yeah, which is cool. Like, I like the pizza delivery guy, Kino. He has a pretty good fight scene at the beginning of the movie, and then like he's like, "Hey, I can infiltrate the Foot Clan for you."
He was the martial arts performer that wore the Donatello suit in the first movie, and they liked him enough to give him an actual role in this one. And he's acted in a few things after that too. Hell, he was basically the lead in that weird Surf Ninjas movie, or at least one of the leads.
Never seen it.
I've seen it twice. Once when I was a little kid, and once years later, and I was like, what the hell kind of movie is this? Why is that kid seeing a future in a Game Gear? What's going on?
I don't know. I'm very intrigued. You said Surf Ninja and Game Gear? I'm there. It's like, yes, was Game Gear a lesser Game Boy? It sure was, but you got to give it credit for taking 6 AA batteries and lasting 30 minutes.
Also, I think the villain was Leslie Nielsen.
Man, you're selling me on Surf Ninja. I got to watch Surf Ninja.
Also, it had that one guy in it whose name I don't remember, but I saw him in a bunch of stuff in the 90s. What was his name? He was like a rapper. He had like a weird name. I remember he was in that movie Blank Check, too.
I have no idea. Flavor Flav.
No, not Flavor Flav.
But anyway, Secret of the Ooze. There's a lot I like in this movie. I always like Splinter's like parenting in this movie where he's just like, go do 50 flips.
He's getting strict.
Yeah. Not push-ups, flips.
Fair is fair. Seeing those turtle suits do backflips it's still impressive. It's like, damn, how they doing that?
Yeah, these guys are good. I always like when Michelangelo is doing like the fake flips where he's just like jumping and clapping and then Splinter catches him, but he's like, oh, okay. Like,
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Splinter has probably the most unintentionally funny moment in the movie.
Yeah, everybody knows that moment.
He's been up on the roof ever since he saw your report.
Doing what?
Coming to a decision.
Why did they have him say coming?
Why is there a pause?
I don't know.
Coming to a conclusion.
To a decision.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a family movie. What are you doing? Stop it.
It's the setup, too. It's just like, where's Master Splinter?
Oh, he's been up on the roof. Doing what? Coming.
It's like, oh, God.
Never.
Yikes. But yeah. It's very funny in this movie how it's like very much like April is like the Turtles' mom in this movie.
Yeah, she comes to the apartment, like sees all the mess, knows exactly which turtle caused the mess.
Yeah. I kind of like April being the Turtles' more like mom than when like the Turtles are like perving on her and like newer stuff. Where
I
it's-
mean, they perved on her a little bit in the first movie.
that's true, but
not as bad as in like
the
some
Michael
later,
Bay movie.
or even the 2012 cartoon.
Oh yeah, that one too.
I don't like
yeah.
it when she's the same age as them.
Yeah, that's weird. I definitely like April being like older than the Turtles.
Yeah.
Like having a job because the Turtles are supposed to be the kids.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't mind her either. She's either the mother figure or at the very least the big sister.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like her being like, we're the same.
Yeah.
You're part of the team. Come on adventures. No. You stay over there and get some intel. And don't get captured.
Yeah.
I've seen that enough. Don't get easily tricked by a Foot Clan infiltrating the press somehow.
Always happens.
So many times.
Yeah. It's funny too because like they always like kind of in these original movies emphasize that like the Turtles are like pretty young. They're only like 15. Like definitely like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sometimes they kind of keep the age like a little ambiguous with it, but I guess for the most part, like really the only Turtles that I kind of felt like seemed like they were older were like the 2003 Turtles. They seem like they were more like 17, but
I mean, by the end, they would have to have been.
Yeah.
They go through a lot of stuff.
plus they just seem bigger. They seem like they were like older, like
I mean,
17.
They seem bigger until you see them actually like next to Casey and April and stuff. And you're like, oh no, they're kids.
Yeah, that's true. They're just like thick.
Yeah, they just got that like Batman, the animated series, DC animated universe kind of like build, but they're still short.
Yeah. Even though like this movie has like clearly some like rewrites and like studio interference, like I want to say like, you know, the Turtles still act like the Turtles that I know from my childhood.
If anything, Donatello is more Donatello in this movie than
Yeah.
the first movie. Not voiced by Corey Feldman because rehab.
Oh. Sad.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Raph is different. Raph is just always different in these movies.
Yeah.
Every movie, just different Raph.
He's the most New York turtle.
Always and forever.
Yeah.
But we got the same Mikey, same Leo.
Yeah. I mean, that Mikey voice and Leo voice, that's like the voice I always hear for the Ninja Turtles, honestly. Like, these
hard-
are like the Turtles I always hear in my mind. I don't know why. It's like that Raphael having that like very strong like New York accent I always hear.
I mean,
You
that
know?
is mostly carried over through most versions, even the Michael Bay movies. Like, that's Raph is fairly New York sounding in that.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I don't know about that. Did he have a New York accent? Mutant Mayhem? I didn't see it. You saw
I
it.
mean, I did. I liked it, you know, but I don't know. They in Mutant Mayhem, those turtles seem like they're even younger. Like they're like 13. Like Donatello,
But does Raph have a New York accent?
sort of, but
Yeah, sort of.
I don't know. You know, I only saw that one once.
I don't remember Rise because I saw a couple episodes and then I was like, nope.
Yeah, I never really saw much of Rise.
You probably saw about as much as I did.
I tried watching it, but like I couldn't get into it, even though I thought the animation looked pretty good and some stuff.
People claim it gets really good. They don't tell you when it gets really good because it starts really bad.
Yeah, you know, if there's like an episode guide that just like watch Rise from here, I'll definitely check it out then.
From this episode on.
Yeah.
Don't watch any of the first 12 or some nonsense.
Because, you know, in a lot of these modern adaptations of the Ninja Turtles, I want to say they keep ruining Splinter. That's like my biggest peeve with like the last like, I guess like 2 iterations, maybe even 3, because the last live action version they did, they ruined Splinter too.
I would say they ruined his backstory, but not necessarily his character, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Because, like, he acted in character, but his backstory was stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Rise, it was weird and strange. He was, like, he hated the turtles. It was weird.
Yeah, I guess with like, you know, the last 2 theatrical Turtles, it's just like I'm tired of Splinter learning karate from like a pamphlet or an instructional video. Like I'm tired of like not having that like Hamato Yoshi connection anymore. It's just like that's like the whole thing.
They did such a good job in that 2012 cartoon.
Yeah.
Not only was Splinter great, the backstory was pretty perfect. They combined the classic comic book origin with the 87 origin by making Splinter Hamato Yoshi, which is fine.
Yeah.
You can it streamlines it a bit, but that rivalry with Shredder is still there.
Yeah, if anything, this movie is kind of like lacking that connection still with like Splinter and Shredder. It's just kind of like Shredder's back, and it's just like
they don't interact in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Splinter goes out into the field one time
Yeah.
to shoot an arrow because, I mean, once again, Splinter is mostly just a hand puppet.
Okay.
We see his feet moving at one point, but
Yeah.
never shall the torso and the feet meet.
It always blows my mind that it's just like, hey, you know the guy that plays Splinter plays like Elmo on Sesame Street?
Not anymore.
Yeah. Well, back then though.
Yes, back then,
Yeah.
yes.
It was just like crazy though. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
I mean, you know, the suits were still made by the Jim Henson Company. In this movie, it's dedicated to Henson.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he died after, I guess maybe after the first, I don't know if he died before or after the first movie came out. I don't know.
I know he died in the early 90s.
I know he died like maybe
Yeah.
1990.
Okay.
You know, he worked on the first movie, and obviously he didn't work on this one.
Yeah.
Now, I know the Henson Company did not come back for the third one because they didn't really like the violence of the Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, what movie did they watch? This movie had no violence. It was all gone by this movie.
Seriously, and you guys made the Dark Crystal. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a weird
yeah.
movie with violence in it.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they had weapons. I don't know.
Yeah. You have that one Skeksis get like ripped apart. Well,
never
actually,
seen
I don't think he gets ripped apart, but like it definitely seems like he's getting like his clothes ripped and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe everyone else in the Jim Henson Company were cowards.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. The 90s seemed like very much like there was a weird like ninjas are bad vibe, and they're like our kids like ninjas and we can't have ninjas. I mean, I guess that was more in England than America.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, we got some of that reverberated towards us because like it affected the show and
yeah,
stuff. But you know, American parents still complain about the first movie like they complain about like Batman Returns, which is why those movie series both went from serious to goofy and silly.
I mean, I can understand Batman Returns. Batman Returns is a weird freaking movie.
But it's weird. Do you think some of those complaints would have been there for '89? The Joker was like mass murdering people and stuff.
Yeah,
But was that movie just such a big hit that they didn't care?
that's maybe. I mean, I guess with the Ninja Turtles, I can understand if
But
like
that first movie
they-
was a big hit.
Yeah, and maybe a lot of parents took like 5-year-olds to the first movie, and then like
I mean, fair is fair. When I was 4, that movie scared me.
yeah,
Shredder was scary.
Shredder is scary. But that's why he's awesome, though.
Oh, yeah. At least we got that one movie.
Yeah.
That one untainted Ninja Turtle movie. Well, relatively untainted. But we'll never get one like that again.
I mean, yeah, but like they kind of nailed it the first time anyway. So.
Yes. But they can
Yeah.
always do better.
Yeah. I guess it's a shame that like if they were gonna go cartoon with like the second movie, like, you know, they didn't use Bebop and Rocksteady as you said, but
Which I think the studio wanted it, but Eastman and Larry were like, no,
yeah,
they're too stupid. But then Tokan Reza also are stupid, so it's almost pointless.
yeah. I guess the mutagen kind of works a little different in the movie than it does in the cartoon.
It just seems to turn animals to people and people into Hulks and blades into very big blades. 'Cause
I mean-
it affects blades apparently.
I will say, like, one thing that this movie gave us and is unquestionably awesome is Super Shredder.
Just from a design standpoint alone, Super Shredder is cool.
Yeah,
From an execution standpoint, Super Shredder's a bitch.
yeah.
He tears his
could do
quad
more.
faster than Kevin Nash tears his quad.
Wow.
That's for the wrestling fans. I'm sorry, Kevin Nash. Don't.
Nice.
I actually like Kevin Nash. He seems
Yeah.
pretty cool. But that's like an old deep cut joke.
Yeah.
But you know,
Super Shredder looks awesome though. I wish like he wasn't under a dock every time we saw him. I wish we got a like part where they just like actually got to fight him.
that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Man, instead he just goes out like a bitch.
But the costume is cool. Like
Yeah.
he looks awesome.
Yeah.
He looks so awesome that they're like, we're gonna use him in video games.
Yeah.
Because like Shredder can just turn into Super Shredder.
and the Turtles, Super Nintendo Turtles in Time, he turns into Super Shredder.
Yeah.
There's always a variation on Super Shredder. There's sort of a version of Super Shredder in that Mutants in Manhattan game.
The new one,
20
Shredder's Revenge, he turns into Super Shredder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And kind of had a crappy version of Super Shredder in the 2012 cartoon.
Yeah.
He looked weird.
I don't like that one. He's more like gross mutant than like cool.
Yeah.
But like Super Shredder in this is awesome.
Yes.
It's a great costume. He looks cool. He's been many cool like things in video games. He has pretty cool action figures.
NEC has made a couple of really cool looking ones.
Yeah.
Hell, even the one from when I was a kid, it was kind of too short, but it still looked kind of neat, and I liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah. That's one good thing about Secret of the Ooze is they gave you Super Shredder.
And you know what? Toka and Raza are kind of neat, voiced by Frank Welker, because of course they were.
Yep. I guess my only thing with Toka and Razor is like I kind of wish they were maybe not as like dumb.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if they were like maybe a little more menacing, but they're kind of like harmless.
It's kind of weird that they went with another turtle.
Yeah.
Also, I always kind of laugh at the line where Shredder asks Tatsu, "Are these the two most vicious animals you can find?" Tatsu's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No. You telling me that between like the Central Park Zoo, the Staten Island Zoo, the Bronx Zoo, you couldn't find a lion or an elephant? I mean, you couldn't steal an elephant, but you could probably stole something more vicious than a wolf and a snapping turtle. Could have stole an alligator. We could have had Leatherhead.
I mean, yeah,
We could have had Leatherhead.
that would have been cool. An alligator.
Damn it. We could have had Leatherhead.
Yeah. I mean, wolf, pretty vicious.
Yeah, I
but,
mean, yeah. I mean, Razor looks cool. He's got like the garbage armor.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of neat looking.
Yeah, Toka's got the spike shell, which I always liked. But I like how Shredder is just like immediately like, they're too stupid.
They're babies.
Yeah. Like the professor guy's like, well, they have other traits. Also, like the professor guy reveals, like, well, I made him stupid on purpose. Because,
I think that's a neat touch.
yeah.
That he sabotaged it. I like that.
Yeah.
Professor Perry's a cool character. It would have been much more interesting if he was a neutron.
Yeah. That would have been a very different movie if he's like actually like an alien at the end, or
I mean,
if
it would
they
have been a
even
hell of a
revealed
cool
it.
like sequel hook.
Yeah.
Where it's like you find out I'm an alien refugee. My world was conquered by a despot named Krang. I mean, that's more of something they would do today, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and they probably wouldn't even say like, like he's like, I'm from another dimension, Dimension X.
Yeah, they would probably want.
Yeah.
They'd probably say that.
Because then Technodrome and all that jazz.
But man, that would have been way too expensive for these movies.
Oh yeah, like I mean, like, honestly, the Henson Company making a Ninja Turtle movie where like, we got like Krang, like proper Krang, and then like he's got like stone soldiers made out of like suits and triceratons and stuff. I mean, it would have been so expensive, but it would have been like, it's like, hey, the Dark Crystal? We're just doing that except Ninja Turtles. like so much puppetry. It'd be insane.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be so expensive back then.
And I would have loved to see what the Henson Company could have did with Krang.
Yeah. Yeah, Krang probably would have looked pretty cool.
He would have looked incredible at
He
that.
probably would have been gross and scary, too.
I know!
He would have been, like, slimy and stuff. Like, I don't know if he'd have that same, like, voice from the cartoons, but
I don't know. Maybe.
they just get somebody famous to play Krang. Well, then again, these
really-
movies didn't do that.
No, because
Yeah.
they're all voiced by, like... The most famous of the voices was Corey Feldman.
Yeah. And then, like, this movie has Vanilla Ice, and I was like, was Vanilla Ice even that big of a deal by then?
Dude, you're asking someone that was like a little kid.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. I'm just like, okay.
It's one of the most infamous, like, so bad it's good moments. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, Vanilla Ice just freestyle rap this entire song.
like-
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's like, look at that suit jacket from the 90s with those big shoulder pads.
Also, why is the Foot Clan having their big final battle with the Turtles next to a nightclub? Did they not know it was there? Did they just see a construction site like, yeah, that'll do? And then when they burst into the nightclub, did Shredder just like look at Tatsu? And Tatsu was like, stupid gentrification.
Maybe it was even dumber than that, where like Shredder's just like, okay, so we're gonna defeat the Turtles, then we're gonna have the after party next door. It's like, let me tell you guys, this club is pretty cool. Like,
Oh, God. Like,
Shredder wanted to, have a party afterwards.
yeah, I guess.
There's a very different version of that movie where like Shredder and Tatsu are doing Jello shots and dancing up a
man.
storm.
God.
But-
the horror.
Yeah, that's probably it. Or either that or the Foot Clan people trick Shredder. They're like, yeah, no, this area is cool, bro. And it's just like, yeah, and afterwards we'll go to the nightclub,
Yeah, man.
Like-
I'm not late for my date with my girl. She'll be upset.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But yeah, It is funny. Like the turtles get their picture in the paper and stuff at the end. Although all the people at the nightclub are just like, man, those are awesome costumes.
Yeah, they just think they just saw a weird, elaborate show.
Yeah.
Though they did get legitimately scared by the Shredder, so I don't know. I don't know how many of those people are so drunk and high.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real.
They were on the reefer.
They were on stuff. It was 91. Maybe there was still some coke left over from the 80s. I don't know. So I don't know what they thought happened. I mean, a giant wolf and a giant turtle turned into a normal wolf and a turtle in
Yeah.
front of people.
It's true. It is. It's pretty good. You know, one thing in these movies too. They never got like any of the vehicles really.
Man, that would have been tough.
I mean, it definitely would have been, but
I mean,
if there's one movie to get a vehicle, it probably would have been this movie. But
Yes.
like they decided not to do that.
there was no place for it, I feel.
Yeah.
They didn't really do movie toys for some reason. I don't know. Playmates was like against it. I don't know.
Which is weird.
If they were like 100% on board, they probably would have insisted on it. I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because, you know, you had Batman with the Batmobile and,
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
April had that old van in the first movie that could easily been converted into a turtle van.
Yeah.
But even the turtle van, I think, is kind of loosely based on that specific van.
Okay.
Loosely, very loosely.
Yeah. But I guess, like, they're like, this movie, you know, we're trying to keep the budget under control in this movie. And
We had 5 mutants in the last one. Now we got 7. That's a lot.
yeah.
There's not much that we could do. It's bad enough that we got rid of most of the cast from the previous movie, though they brought back that police chief guy for 6 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Just randomly shows up and is just so useless.
Yeah. Just the worst.
It's still a nice link back to the first movie, even though it's like this movie feels so foreign from it. But there's still those little things that connect back to it.
Yeah.
Him and Tatsu. I think they're the only returning people, the human actors.
Even the guy Shredder's different?
I think the Shredder voice is the same, but I think it's a different guy in the suit.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we don't really see his face really
Yeah,
at all. So
you can put
it doesn't
anybody in
matter.
there, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like you just gotta have menacing eyes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You gotta put a little vein on your forehead.
You know, I noticed one of like the foot soldiers at towards the beginning of the movie is like a lot bigger than the other foot soldiers, and I was just like wondering. I was like, I wonder if that guy's like some wrestler guy that like is just like as an extra or something, because he's like dramatically taller than a lot of the other ones.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The only wrestler I know in this movie is Kevin Nash.
Yeah. And you know, Super Shredder, pretty cool. I don't know what else to say about Secret of the Ooze except it's fine. You know, it's definitely not as good as the first Ninja Turtles movie, but
It's a perfectly fine Ninja Turtles movie to watch with your little kid. If you got a little kid, this is the one that won't scare them.
yeah, definitely.
Because the first one might scare them a little. This one won't.
Yeah.
You might get Go Ninja Go stuck in your head for like a good 10 minutes after the movie ends, but
It's true. This movie does feel very of its time, especially with like the end credit like music and stuff. Like that original Ninja Turtles movie is like kind of like more, I don't know. It does feel 90s, but like it doesn't have as much of like the 90s soundtrack, I think, as this one does.
I guess.
But
The songs that we do hear during the movie, they don't feel as easily placeable as some of the other ones to me.
it kind of feels like Ghostbusters 2 a little bit, this movie.
Yeah, because all the
Yeah.
hard edge has been sanded off.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters 2 was not as bad in that regard as this.
Ghostbusters 2 is a movie I like more and more every time I see it. Secret of the Ooze is like, I love this movie as a child, but like, I feel like the first movie as an adult gets better, but like this movie, I'm just like, yeah, this is the one you like, or like, if you have a little kid, you show him this one.
I will say, though, if you do watch it enough, there might be a few things you notice that maybe you didn't notice before. Like, I watched this movie so many times that I discovered something in the background in the beginning of the movie that made me go, huh. So you remember in the one big fight at the junkyard where Michelangelo gets dogpiled on, and then he just sort of like walks from behind them and he's like, hey, what happened here? What are you guys punching? He does that in the beginning of the movie, in that first fight. But it's in the background. But it happens.
Huh.
It's the same joke, but it's in the background of the movie. It's so weird because, like I said, I've watched this movie enough that I would start looking at what the turtles other turtles were doing in the background because I was like, all right, I've seen this part. What's going on? What are Raph or Donnie or whoever in the background doing? And I just noticed Mikey doing that. A bunch of those crooks, like, they dogpile him, and then he just kind of like walks up behind them. It's like, hey guys, what are you punching? It's the same thing, but it's in the background. It's so weird.
That is weird.
It's such a weird attention to detail that you don't expect this movie to have.
Yeah. But you've seen it way more than me. You're like, I watched the background of the movie now because I know everything in the fore.
Oh man, these movies are movies that I could just like start reciting the dialogue and be completely perfectly in sync with the movie.
Oh man.
We watched them a lot, especially me.
Yeah.
I used to marathon all 3 of these movies, just like back to back.
Yeah. But I guess with that being said, go watch Secret of the Ooze, and that's the Out of Touch podcast for this day. I don't know.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Coming.